Hello, everyone. The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip.
So the two of them break out and they go on like a mini rampage that gets covered by these news stories. But meanwhile, Baby is up for parole. She gets denied.
Wait, the parole scene is so good.
Okay.
So
she gets a slow motion, like,
yeah.
I fuck the camera.
No, it's a Mean Girls or Jawbreaker or whatever teen movie hot girl sequence walking down the hall, but it's Sherry Moon Zombie with her two lesbian guards. One of whom is Dee Wallace.
Yes. So, shockingly enough, like, if we ever end up releasing this as a regular episode, there's your queer element. We've got Dee fucking Wallace as a lesbian prison guard licking her lips over Sherry Moon Zombie. It's amazing.
So, hey, you haven't seen Lords of Salem. So, Dee Wallace has found herself in the Rob Zombie family. Because she was in Halloween, and then she did Lords of Salem, and now she's doing this shit. And you know what? Good for fucking her.
Good for her. I love that it's like Dee Wallace and Barbara Crampton are just showing up in every fucking thing. And I'm like, yes to older women, like horror icons.
Yeah.
Coming back to the genre and showing up in these often bit parts, but they show up and you're just like, oh, automatically my interest is piqued. So like, I'm so much more interested in
this is not a Lords of Salem podcast, but I will just tell you, she has a bigger part in Lords of Salem because she's one of the three Coven witches, and it's not a big part, but it's bigger than anything she has in another Rob Zombie film. And it's her and two other old horror bitches.
Old biddies. Horror biddies.
But it's really good. Dee Wallace, he gives her the glasses and a weird brown football helmet treatment.
Haircut.
No. I looked at my husband and I was like, that's Dee Wallace. And he goes, no, that's just some lesbian actress.
Yes.
And I was like, no, it's Dee Wallace. And so like after Sherry Moon breaks her nose and she spoke finally,
yes.
He was like, wait, is that Dee Wallace? And I was like, yes, it's Dee Wallace. And then Coach Beast from Glee comes in. But yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, okay. Let's discuss the Sherry Moon of the situation right now.
Okay. So Sherry Moon Zombie is 100% the star of this movie.
Absolutely.
And particularly in the first half. So Trace is suggesting that there's two halves. I'm suggesting there's like 2 1/4 because all of the stuff with dismissing and putting to bed the Devil's Rejects is kind of that opening segment. Yeah. It's like 15-ish minutes.
Okay.
And then once it's like there's Sherry Moon Zombie, aka Baby, in prison and all of that drama with Dee Wallace and the warden and all this other garbage. There's a little bit with Otis and what are we calling him? Winslow, Foxworth, whatever, the Richard Brake character.
Richard Brake.
Okay. Otis and Richard Brake take the warden's wife.
Wait, what was it? It was like Captain Wolf skin?
It's Wolf something.
Something. It's Richard Brake.
Yeah. Richard Brake Wolf. Brakey Wolfie. Yeah, so that's basically the first half of the film, and then the second half of the film is when they go to Mexico, and it becomes a full-blown Robert Rodriguez affair.
Alright.
So talk to me about Sherry Moon Zombie.
Listeners,
your idol.
I'm sure all of you fucking hate Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah, so let's continue to make broad generalizations.
People hate her.
Don't lean into the mic. You're already too loud.
I was situating myself. I'm sorry. Whatever. It's our first time doing this, y'all. Just forgive us. Sherry Moon Zombie is... I like women that people hate.
You could have just ended it there.
I like women. I like women that people hate. No, because people hate Jessica Biel. I love Jessica Biel. People hate Cameron Diaz. I love Cameron Diaz. People hate Anne Hathaway. I love Anne Hathaway. Like, the mob mentality against certain women, I tend to like those women and want to see them in films more, because I'm like, no, like, because a lot of times too, those women are capable of acting, and they're good. Yeah. There is a mob mentality against Sheri Moon Zombie.
100%.
Because she only acts in Rob Zombie films.
Yeah, so there's claims that, she's just a pretty face, she married the director, she shows up in all of his films, it's nepotism to the max, and so on.
Wait, and if you don't know what nepotism is, it means it's like familial favoritism.
Yeah, it's favoritism because you know someone.
Yeah. It's like if the owner of the Hilton Hotels made a movie, and he cast Paris Hilton in the movie. Yeah. That's nepotism.
Or if, like, a president owned, stakes in a bunch of different companies and then encouraged people from the government to go and, like, stay at said hotels or use said services or something like that.
Okay, but in the world of acting...
Right, okay.
What you're saying is stupid.
Right.
In the world of acting. Or look at 47 Meters Down. Sylvester Stallone and Jamie Foxx are not in that movie, but their children are, despite having very little acting experience.
Yes.
So people are like, it's nepotism because they're only in that movie because of their fathers.
Yes. So a lot of people have leveled that at Sheri Moon Zombie because she is married to the director and therefore she shows up in all of his films.
And I will not dispute that.
Right.
I mean, is she in these movies because of Rob Zombie? Probably so. Absolutely. Like, I'm not disputing that. But people hate her because of that fact.
Yes.
And while I say, yeah, sure, that's why she's in these movies, is she bad in these movies?
No.
I disagree 100%. I mean, sorry, not with your statement. You're correct. The only Rob Zombie movie that Sheri Moon Zombie is in that I think that she's bad in is Halloween. I think she is bad in Halloween.
Oh, I would disagree with that. I think she's okay.
I think she's good in the beginning.
Yes.
I think she gets worse as the film goes on. But I think she's great as Baby in all three of these films. This episode was brought to you by the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network, delivering your weekly horror podcast fix. To find more episodes of this show and others, please visit bloodydisgusting.com/podcast network.
Get in, losers. This is the Lady Killers, a Feminine Rage podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Sammy.
I'm Rocco.
And I'm May. Our podcast is a tribute to the female-identifying killers in horror and more.
Each episode will feature us, your Supreme Court of female murderers, discussing our favorite lady killers, from your Julias and Jennifers to your Carries and Christines.
We'll tell her story, decide if it's good for her horror, and answer the most important question of all: would we die for her?
Join us on Thursdays as we pull on our sweaters, snatch our ice picks, sharpen our scissors, and honor the lady killers who live on the silver screen.
No boys were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yet.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. Sweet screams.